One word. Just one word escaped Elizabeth's lips at the final fitting, and Hartnell vowed never to repeat it. 3,000 hours of labor, 9 sketches, millions of eyes across the globe. But the dress's deepest secret? The Queen discovered it far too late. The couturier had hidden something in the fabric that could have changed everything. A symbol she would touch again and again, never knowing the truth. Hope? Or deception? Stay until the end, and you'll discover what truly lay concealed in the folds of the coronation gown. Picture this. The entire world is watching you. Millions of eyes fixed on your every move, cameras capturing your slightest gesture, and you must radiate light. Literally. Let's break this down step by step. On June 2nd, 1952, a young woman found herself at the center of an event the entire planet had been anticipating. Elizabeth II was preparing for her coronation. But this wasn't merely a ceremony. This was the first ritual of its kind ever broadcast on television. Imagine the scale of that pressure. Around her gathered a crowd dressed in the most luxurious garments imaginable. Diamonds, emeralds, gold, brocade, every guest trying to outshine the rest. And she had to stand out among all this magnificence, while maintaining the ability to move without tripping over her own dress, and look exactly as a queen should look. The task seemed impossible. And then something interesting happened. A man who had already proven his mastery took on this puzzle. Norman Hartnell, the very couturier who had created the future queen's wedding gown. He knew her tastes, understood her style, but the coronation demanded something greater, something absolutely unique. Hartnell didn't immediately reach for pencil and fabric. Instead, he went somewhere no one would expect to find a fashion designer. To the London Library, to museums. He studied the coronation robes of all Elizabeth's predecessors. Every detail, every symbol. He immersed himself in history so deeply, as if preparing for an examination upon which the kingdom's fate depended. And in a sense, it did. The next chapter of this story unfolded in silence. Hartnell retreated to his country house. There, far from London's bustle, he allowed inspiration to consume him completely. Later, he described this state in remarkable terms. Heraldic and floral ideas swarmed through his mind. They multiplied, intertwined, created incredible combinations. He thought of lilies, of roses, of daisies and golden wheat stalks. His imagination painted altar cloths and priestly vestments, heaven and earth, sun, moon, stars, everything divine that could possibly be embodied in embroidery. Because he understood perfectly, this dress was destined to become historic. But that's not all. The exact number of variations born during those days remains unknown today. There were many, very many. His trusted assistant, Ian Thomas, who would later become royal couturier himself, selected the finest ideas and created 9 sketches. And now we reach the crucial moment. 9 sketches lay before the Queen, 9 possible images, 9 paths into history. The choice was hers. Elizabeth acted decisively yet cautiously. The silhouette she preferred was familiar, the same as her wedding dress. This made sense. She knew she could move freely in it, that it emphasized her figure exactly as needed. But she agreed to changes. Add color, make the ensemble more vibrant, more expressive. And then came a request that transformed the project into something far greater. She wanted to see symbols of the British Commonwealth nations on the dress. Every nation. So that on Coronation Day all would be represented on her gown. So each would feel part of this magnificent moment. Hartnell returned to work, and when the final sketch was ready, the Queen accepted it with almost no corrections. Almost. She requested only a slight change to the color of the Irish shamrock. One tiny detail, everything else was flawless. The real turning point came later. Royal protocol established ironclad rules. Hartnell and all employees of his house were bound to absolute secrecy. Not a word the Queen spoke could leak out. Not a hint about her reaction, not a single comment. Years passed, decades, and only then did Hartnell dare reveal one secret. He spoke of the final fitting. Of that moment when Elizabeth saw herself in the mirror in full regalia, she uttered one word, just one: magnificent. So what was the essence of this magnificence? Let's look at the facts. The dress's foundation was white satin, the skirt full, widening towards the hem, a classic silhouette. But this was merely the canvas, the backdrop for a true masterpiece. The entire surface was covered in embroidery, not just patterns, an entire encyclopedia in silk, pearls, and precious stones. To create this marvel, seamstresses required 3,000 hours. 3,000 hours of meticulous handwork. Every stitch carried meaning. Every element told a story. And now, the truth about what exactly adorned this dress. The embroidered journey began at the kingdom's heart. England was represented by the Tudor rose. Pink silk created delicate petals. Pearls added nobility. Pink rhinestones played with light. Gold and silver threads intertwined, creating depth and dimension. This flower wasn't merely beautiful, it carried the weight of centuries of dynastic history. Nearby sat the symbol of Wales. The leek. It may seem a strange choice for royal attire, but this vegetable was the ancient symbol of the Welsh. White and green silk conveyed its form and colour. Rhinestones added solemnity. Scotland declared itself through the thistle. Pale lilac silk formed prickly petals. Amethysts wove into the embroidery, creating a play of purple shades. Flower cups were crafted from pale green silk with silver, and on leaf tips sparkled dewdrops of rhinestones, as if the flower had just been plucked from a morning hillside. Ireland was present through the shamrock, the very one whose colour the Queen had requested be changed. Bright green silk combined with silver threads. Simple but recognizable. Across the ocean lay the Commonwealth lands, and each found its place on the royal dress too. Canada spoke the language of maple leaves. Green silk created that familiar shape. Gold threads embroidered veins. Crystal beads caught the light, making the leaves shimmer with every movement. Australia brought its golden wattle. For this, they used special fluffy yellow wool. This created a remarkable effect. The flowers seemed soft, alive. Leaves combined green and gold, conveying the play of sunlight through Australian foliage. New Zealand chose the fern. Tender green silk formed graceful fronds. Silver threads embroidered veins with anatomical precision. Crystal beads added volume and brilliance. South Africa presented protea flowers. Pink silk created exotic petals. Silver traced the veins. Leaves were crafted from dark green silk, while pink rhinestones added drama and contrast. The most important was yet to come. The East brought its treasures. India offered the lotus. But not an ordinary embroidered flower. The petals were crafted from genuine mother of pearl. They shimmered with all the colors of the rainbow at the slightest turn. River pearls and rhinestones completed the composition. This was a flower worthy of an empire. Ceylon also presented a lotus, but an entirely different one. It incorporated opals. These stones played with inner fire, changing hues depending on the lighting. Mother of pearl, rhinestones, and pale green silk created a composition where gemstone and fabric merged as one. And then followed a true poem from Pakistan. An entire composition of several plants. Wheat stalks were crafted from rhinestones. Leaves shone with golden crystal. Jute represented a combination of green silk and gold threads. Cotton was embroidered in silver, its leaves created from green silk. This was an image of the earth's wealth, its fertility and generosity. What actually happened in the final days of creating the dress? Documents reveal an unexpected turn. Among all the Irish shamrocks, one was different. It had not 3 petals, but 4. A 4-leaf clover, the ancient symbol of luck. Hartnell gave precise instructions. This special shamrock should be embroidered on the left side of the skirt, precisely there, in the place the queen would constantly touch with her hand during the ceremony. Every time she adjusted the dress's folds, every time she held the fabric while moving. The crucial moment came in this. Elizabeth herself was told nothing about it beforehand. This was Hartnell's secret, his personal talisman for the queen. He poured into the dress not only skill and hours of labor, he poured in hope, a wish for good fortune, faith that this small symbol would bring blessing. Later, when the secret was revealed, it became clear Hartnell had created not merely ceremonial attire, he had sewn a charm, a dress meant to protect and support its wearer on the most important day of her life. And those who attended the coronation all said the same thing. The young queen truly radiated light. Perhaps it was the rhinestones and pearls catching the spotlight's glow, or perhaps the 4-leaf clover actually worked. Well, now you know the truth. No deception, only care. Hartnell wasn't hiding a terrible secret. He was giving hope. A 4-leaf clover sewn exactly where the queen would touch the dress with her hand. A charm for good luck. 3,000 hours of work transformed into a message. You will succeed. Isn't that more beautiful than any intrigue? If this story touched you, give it a thumbs up. Subscribe to discover the truth behind royal secrets. Hit that bell. There's so much more incredible content ahead. What secrets do other monarchs' garments hold? I'll tell you soon. Thank you for being with me. Until we meet again.